should turn my microphone on. Welcome, everybody. This is a special meeting of our Human Resources Personnel Changes, and it's April 22nd, 2021 at 11 a.m. In attendance are Commissioners Brooks and Duncan, and Commissioner Filios is excused. Are there any changes to the agenda?
No changes.
Just an amended agenda. So, Bill, do you mind making a motion to accept the amended agenda, because it was less than 24 hours and it was actually just kind of a typographical?
Sure.
Yes.
I move that we accept the amended agenda for our meeting today.
Okay, regarding item 2, going from AT2 to an AT3.
Okay.
And I'll second that.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Chair Pro Tem Duncan.
Aye. All right, motion carried. So I think we can just get right down to our first action item, which is the exception to hiring policy 120 with our prosecutor. So, Barry?
Thank you. Commissioners, I have a position that's going to be open until September 30, and I'm trying to patch some needs that are going to come up between now and then with the funds that are available. You've seen the worksheet that was created, and I appreciate the work of both Kim Van Slate and Michelle, who were scrambling to help me put this together on fairly short notice. So there's 3 things that we're trying to do. We would like to hire a temporary legal assistant for 5 weeks.
Okay, so hang on, Barry.
Yeah.
So item 1 is just exception to hiring policy 120.
Okay.
And then item 2 is your temporary conversion.
Okay, so the exception to 120 relates to an applicant we have for an open position. We advertised that position. We had 3 applicants. 2 of them were law students. One was an attorney who didn't really have the background that we were interested in. And so we interviewed and talked to one of the applicants who is a 3rd-year law student, will take the bar exam this summer, and then would be available for hire after that. So his experience includes roughly a year of intern-type applicable experience. The experience that doesn't apply is 2 years as a teacher, and what I'm asking for the board to do is to consider those 2 years as applicable in order to be able to get him up to 91%, which would be an exception. But I think there's an argument to be made that someone who creates lesson plans, delivers lesson plans, and supervises kids brings to the table some of the experience that is very valuable when it comes to evaluating cases and presenting them in court, and advocating on behalf of the state in this particular case. So it would be basically moving from 1 year of applicable experience to 3 years of applicable experience in terms of the salary that we're asking for, which was just a few $100s more than the minimum salary he was asking for in his application.
Okay, so just a point of clarification. So the attorney pay band acts a little bit differently, because right now our department heads and elected officials have the opportunity to hire up to 95% of market. Is that right? Or is that only based on, Kim?
Well, the 95% of market is based on years of experience off of their application.
Gotcha.
So 95% is equivalent to 5 years of experience. 91% that Barry's talking about is equivalent to 3 years of experience.
Gotcha. Okay.
But what made it unique was it wasn't quite in the legal system, I think, and that's why Barry's bringing it forward, but feels it's relevant to bring them to the 91% of market. So
Okay.
It wasn't specific in the job description. We felt it was important just to put it out there and get that approval through the board.
Sure. So is there anything that I'm missing on this?
You know, the only thing I would say is, you know, always the risk is, are you going to have, you know, you offer somebody a job and it's 6 or 8 months out. But this is a young guy who is going to school in Florida, is from Wyoming, interviewed by Zoom, then interviewed in person, you know, flew out here and we talked to him, and we're very comfortable that he's a guy that we can trust to stick with this commitment. He seems very excited about the job. He's also number one in his class, so he's a really exceptionally, I think, talented young man who I believe will be a great addition to our office.
Okay. Bill, do you have questions?
No.
Okay, I don't see a problem with this. So are you good?
I move that we make an exception to hiring policy 120 for the prosecutor.
As outlined.
Pardon?
As outlined.
Yeah, as outlined, because it's,
I'll second that.
Bill Brooks,
I,
Chair Pro Tem Duncan.
Aye. All right, item number 2, temporary conversion of an AT3 attorney position. So it says ATP3. Is that because it's a temporary?
It's the attorney pay band.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, so that when we switched to the new grading levels, we had to change it
Okay.
to add a letter.
Okay, government loves letters. All right, Barry, so go ahead with this.
So this is a position that will be open until September. So starting at the bottom, that's the temporary position for the attorney that we were just discussing at 91% of market to bring him on in mid-September. He'll take the bar exam I should say mid-August. He'll take the bar exam in end of July, and then we'll have to move out here, and so we're giving him a little time to do that. But I'd like to have the money to be able to put him on as somebody who is a law school graduate, having taken the bar but not having gotten his results. He'll be able to get a limited license to go to court. So we can start his training before he gets his bar results and can be licensed as a full-fledged attorney. So that's the first request, is to fund that temporary position for the interim period. The next one up is, this is basically to bring Barry Black on for a period of 21 weeks, starting yesterday, basically, or today, at his prior hourly rate to help out with the administrative duties relating to my criminal division, which is pretty stressed. And essentially, it's 19 hours a week for 21 weeks, and it would be so that he can help out with calendaring, going to court when he can, and just generally helping out. And what that's going to allow us to do is for my chief deputy and criminal chief to take on a much greater caseload. We're just experiencing a lot of stress among the attorneys, especially the felony attorneys, based on jury trials starting back up. We've had 14, counting this week, maybe 15 felony jury trials in the 7 weeks that we've been going, which is a lot.
Yeah.
We've been very successful, but you can just, it's not feeling the stress, it's hearing the stress, and this will allow for some of the caseload to be distributed among 2 more attorneys in order to help with that temporarily.
Okay.
And then the other one for 5 weeks, we have a legal assistant who's going to be retiring, has been with the county, I don't know, close to 30 years. She's very experienced, and so we're hoping to bring somebody on in advance of her leaving, basically to make sure we can kind of hit the ground running with somebody who has the adequate training to actually take on the caseload that is going to be necessary during a time frame when, again, we're going to be continuing to have extremely high rate of jury trial activity.
Right. Okay, and then, so that's just an overlap position.
It is.
Yeah, okay. Bill, any questions on that one?
no.
Okay, yeah, I don't see any issues. Kim?
I just need to clarify with Barry when Barry Black's start date will be.
I'm not sure if he started working yesterday or not, but he's got his computer, so.
If he did, can we ask for an exception to make it effective this pay period instead of waiting until our normal process of next pay period?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Kim does a good job of keeping me in line.
I think all of us, not just you, so. Okay, so boy, I'm not sure how this motion's going to read. Do you?
No, why don't you make it up?
Okay.
I was looking at it going,
I
don't
Where
know.
do we go from here? Okay, so I move that we approve the temporary overlap position for the legal secretary for 5 weeks and the temporary legal help for 21 weeks. And then the hiring exception, actually, we already did that, so this is just the projection for it. So I move that we approve both of the temporary positions effective this pay period.
I second the motion. Well done, Leslie.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Chair Pro Tem Duncan.
Aye. All right, next up is a mid-year pay increase due to higher certification, residential appraiser 3, and I think Reba's on the line. Reba, did you want to start?
Yes, I am. Sure. We're asking for a $1 pay increase for James Lavish. He's gotten this extremely prestigious designation of residential evaluation specialist, and there's only 2 that have it in the state of Idaho. So it was a lot of coursework for him, equivalent of 7 years of appraisal experience. So we're just hoping to offer him that dollar to, show appreciation and that it's going to benefit us, this knowledge that he's got.
Sure. Now, typically, Reba, you guys have budgeted for this in the past. I see that this is going to be budget neutral, but is this something that,
Yes.
you'll continue to budget for in the future when these mid-year increases
Yes.
happen? Okay.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
All right. I don't have any other questions. Bill?
Nope.
Okay.
I move that we approve the mid-year pay increase due to higher certification and residential appraisal 3 for the assessor's office.
Yep. And I'll second that.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Chair Pro Tem Duncan.
Aye. All right. On to number 4.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks, Reba. So this will be a mid-year pay increase for PC special. This is for our PC network specialist information technology. And Grant, you'll speak to this?
Thank you, Commissioners. Yeah, this is another budget neutral request. It's basically the finalization of all the reorganization we were doing after reorganizing out at the Sheriff's Department with the retirement of Val Sumas. What the situation that we have right now is we have a PC network technician who works here at the county. He's been here, or at the admin side of the county, for about 5 years. And we're looking to hire 2 more of these positions. One is at the Sheriff's Department, one is here with a recent departure of an employee here. Bottom line is market for this job is $51,000 and he's making $7,000 under that right now. So to hire someone even with qualified experience, and we've already found these candidates, interviewed them, great experience and everything, but we're going to bring them in around $48,000. So they'd essentially be coming in at $4,000 higher than what my senior technician is making. So again, budget neutral request, we're asking to raise Rich by $5,000 to get him above where the other new technicians would be hired at.
Okay, and you said 5 years he's been with us? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, we kind of have to avoid compression, and I know that there's a lot of other departments experiencing the exact same thing that you're talking about.
I'm sorry, it is 6,000, not 5,000.
Okay.
That's my mistake.
That's all right. Okay, and then this one can just be for the next pay period. Is that right? Okay. And I don't have any other questions, Bill?
Oh, I move that we approve the mid-year pay increase for the PC network specialist in IT.
Second?
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Chair Pro Tem Duncan.
Aye.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you. All right, number 5. Mid-year pay increase for administrative supervisor, adult misdemeanor probation.
Good morning. Coming to you right now. Currently, we have had a position that's been open for about a month and a half. It's a front desk assistant. We're having extreme problems finding applicants. We've had 3 applicants in 3 weeks of just regular advertising, and then we bumped it up last week with Kim's help, and thank you very much for doing that. We paid a little bit more money to try to have Indeed be at the top. Still haven't got one applicant for even bumping it.
What's the rate, what's the rate of pay of the per hourly rate?
For this one, the open position,
Yeah,
the open position is $13.90.
you can do that at Burger King.
McDonald's is 15.
Yeah,
So we're going to be.
with no background.
Exactly, and the backgrounds that we put everybody through and what they're exposed to and what we need to have them for their licensing and stuff like that. So we're gonna have to bring them in at a higher rate. I'm gonna work and try to do that. But it causes a lot of compression with my administrative assistant, who has been basically running the office for the past year by herself during COVID and everything else. I'm not asking for a bonus, I'm just asking to make it right, to bring somebody in. So it is a budget neutral request, because we have a lot of salary savings in that area. So I'd be requesting that we move her to closer to the market value for the administrative assistant position. And then
Is it administrative supervisor? or-
supervisor. And then I haven't come before you because I don't have an applicant yet to make the request if it's going to be above or below. But something's going to happen, so I'm just trying to hit the nail before the.
Right. Are you advertising at what % of market? What's your 13?
13 to 1607, I think it is.
Oh, okay.
is what
Up to
market-
the 95%.
Up to 95%.
Up to
Okay.
95%, it's like 1607 or 1618 there.
Okay, so if they came with 5 years' experience, they would be eligible for 16. Okay.
Yeah, but the one applicant that we had, we were $20,000 off. And I was like, I can't do that. So, but I'm trying to fix the administrative supervisor position now, so we don't have that compression when this happens.
Right, so essentially it sounds exactly the same as the IT before this. So, any questions?
No.
Okay,
I move that we approve the mid-year pay increase for the administrative supervisor and adult probations.
I'll second that.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Chair Pro Tem Duncan.
Aye. All right,
For your time.
thank you.
Have a great day.
All right, so next is item number 6, COVID-19 leave. Sylvia?
I just wanted to have a discussion with the board and get some guidance on COVID leave. As of March, the 1st April, we do not have any special COVID leave policy. And pretty much everybody is utilizing the employee sick leave for any COVID-related leave necessities. But at the beginning, or at the last pay period that we were processing, I did have a question come forward of whether there was administrative leave available still for this or not. So at this point, we guided them to use sick leave. But I wanted to clarify with the board, can an elected official grant them administrative leave for COVID? You're in charge of pay and the policies and stuff. So we didn't want to say no or yes without the guidance from the board. And the only thing we would ask that if that's allowable, that we do it countywide. We make sure it's consistent countywide. Like I said, it was one inquiry. Other than that, people just know it's sick leave at this point.
Sure, so Darren, can I put you on the spot? Yes. If you want to come to this. So my first thought is to handle this case-by-case basis if somebody doesn't have sick leave to use, to bring that forward. So what would be the danger of saying, okay, elected officials, you have this admin ability?
So so what would be, there's really no danger other than we want to treat everyone the same. So there's really no tools, nothing in place to make sure that departments across the county are treated the same.
Right.
And I've only heard of the one request as well. It seems like
Sure. So, I don't know, Bill, do your thoughts, questions?
I don't want to start making more policies when it doesn't seem to be a big problem.
Yeah. Yeah, so I would probably say if the person has the sick leave, then to just leave it. Yeah,
Okay.
so,
And we'll tell them at this point, if I get any other inquiries, that admin leave is not available at this point.
right.
If something were to come up, you can bring a request forward
Yes.
in an HR meeting.
Sure.
Yep.
Okay,
Absolutely.
thank you.
Okay, anything else on that one?
Nope.
Okay, number 7, personnel matrix guideline update. Yay.
Yay, thank you. So at the last HR meeting, the Board of County Commissioners approved for HR to handle some position conversions that are temporary in nature. And so we needed some clarification, like there's some that are complex and there are some that are pretty simple conversions. So a simple conversion is the appraiser coming forward and they can't hire, they have an opening for a 3 level, they can't hire at that, so they want to either hire at a 2 or a 1. And the board had said, HR, you can handle that, and then just have it on the consent agenda for the final approval of that. Then as we're talking, so to me, a simple conversion is of that nature, and it's also leaving your employee head count the same. So it's a full-time for a full-time. Where it gets a little more complex is like what Barry McHugh was just requesting of the board. That's why we had him come forward. Where there's a conversion request of 1 full-time into 2 part-times and distributing the money that way. That affects the employee head count and the benefits and so forth. So that would be where we would have them come before the Board of County Commissioners for approval of that nature. So the 2 changes are highlighted in red on your schedule. The conversions that can be handled by HR would still require an auditor's projection, and then we'd put it on the consent calendar. The more complex position conversions we'd bring at an HR meeting, auditor's projection, and then that would be the approval granted by you in that nature. Ultimately, you're approving them all, but this just streamlines the process a bit. And then I wanted Kim to talk about how we'll navigate you seeing those documents that we're saying, okay, this is a simple conversion, we'll do that.
So I don't know if you guys noticed, but I did put an extra folder in this meeting.
Yep.
Just as an FYI of an IT temporary conversion that we did. So everything that you would normally see, you'll still see. It just won't be brought up at the meeting. And it'll be kept on the same schedule. So if somebody brings something up, it'll be included in that meeting folder, and it will be effective the following pay period, so that we're in the same cycle as with everything else. So it won't be 1Z, 2Z type of effective date.
I really like that, and
Okay.
I read through the thing, so. Yeah, good. Any questions? No? Okay. Then we probably need a motion to accept the updated guidelines.
Accept the what?
Updated guidelines.
Okay, I move that we accept the updated guidelines.
I'll second that.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Chair Pro Tem Duncan.
Aye. All right, number 8 is holiday buyback policy, BOCC. Sylvia?
I can start that discussion. A few weeks ago at an HR meeting, Darren had presented information to the board about an old policy, 312. We thought it had buyback language in it, and it didn't. And then the direction, what we had all agreed upon was that the BOCC would talk to their departments that are impacted by a change to this policy and then give us guidance back on that. So that's what we're seeking as next steps. What would you like for us to do with policy 312? Darren, anything you'd like to add?
Boy, it would, I thought somebody from the sheriff's office would be here.
Let me just
So-
double
so
check.
my-
Nope.
No. So my recommendation is with almost all of these benefit type of policies, is treat everybody the same that's similarly situated. So to have bifurcated policies, holiday policies, doesn't make sense. So my recommendation is, hey, it's the board's discretion which direction they want to go, but keep it the same for the entire county.
Right. And I think my feeling at this point with the departments that I've spoken to, that it would not be a benefit to change the policy. As a matter of fact, it would create hardship in those. And so at this point, I don't want to go forward with changing the policy. Bill?
No, I don't either.
Okay. So then my only other thing would be for anybody who has these hours on the books to be able to use them by the end of this fiscal year or get paid for them.
I don't like keeping a big balance in holiday pay or vacation pay or anything else, so.
Right. Right. Okay, so is there any motion needed or?
No action needed.
Okay.
What about the payout by the end of the year to get the hours on the books?
Is that direction or is that a motion?
So that would be direction.
Okay.
I mean, there shouldn't have been any hours on the books, so.
Right. Okay, well, good. All right, any public comment? Nancy, is there anybody online who has nothing? So, all right, meeting adjourned.